abysmal. Now, you talked about Ishant, Subhash. CricViz did a piece last year, I think, or this year or last year. Ishant's expected average minus his actual average on that tour was the biggest differential in their database. So he was very, very, very unlucky in patches. But yeah, like if you don't have a bowling attack that's penetrative or controlling, it's very hard to win a series. And if you look down the scorecards in that series for England, you can see that because not only did England make huge scores, the run rates they were able to mount because we had no control were massive. And that's why you lose the game, regardless of your batting.
Himanish, you make a great point about control and attacking, right? The fact that India could do neither. And in Dhoni, they had a captain who was super hyper conservative. Like he played test matches like he was playing ODIs, which is that take the game as late as possible, which will work in a limited overs game, but it doesn't really work in a test match. And I mean, this would be the sign of things to come for many years with Dhoni as captain, for many seasons, where you would post somebody deep point, like first, second over of the freaking game, you'll post somebody deep. That's the lack of confidence. Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. He had terrible
Yeah,
bowlers who
so
couldn't
so
give.
so
I
that's
mean,
what I want to ask you as well, because how much of that is a function of how bad his bowlers were, and the fact
obviously
that he
you
didn't
have to
even
give
have
him
two
credit.
bowlers.
I mean, you have to give him credit that he knew his players, he knew his team, right? But at the same time, the fact that this is not a one-day game means that if you want to give yourself any chance, you have to take the wickets. You're not going to get a wicket by posting somebody at deep point, right? So you have to roll the dice. So somebody like Kohli, who gambles a lot, he aggressively goes for it. Sometimes that has led to the detriment of the team, like in England or South Africa, where he goes aggressively, which is fine. But however, given that the bowling attack was depleted, the only way India could compete in the series was to take a few gambles. And Dhoni would try to take a gamble. As soon as it doesn't work out, he'll just back off and go back to, let's try to stretch the game as much as possible. And maybe England's weather would come in and help out, or maybe something will happen. England might lose a cluster of wickets or something like that. He was just hoping for something to happen. And you can't really blame him because the bowlers he had at his disposal. I mean, you look at it, right? You still have Ishant, Umesh, Ashwin still playing for India, but they were like really raw bowlers at the time. So without Zahir Khan, and thankfully Praveen Kumar came in and he was excellent first class player and great conditions to bowl in. And same thing happened in the 2014 series where Bhuvneshwar Kumar was bowled into the ground because there was nobody else really, right? So those two series are exactly the same in my point of view. That 11 and 14, basically the same, except you had one UP bowler bowling instead of the other. That's about it. Right? So yeah, you can't blame him, but you would have thought that Dhoni, for all the smarts he has, would have realized that the only way India could compete was go for broke, and then either you get beaten by innings and 400 runs, then just by 10 wickets.